Hello everybody, my name's Cameron Roberts. I'm the Digital and Community Editor at Digital Event News. I'm here at Hanbury Manor in the Hertfordshire countryside, where we'll be welcoming event platforms, organisers, the best and brightest in the hybrid events industry for the Digital Event News Tech Summit.
And I'm delighted to be joined by an esteemed panel ranging across a different wide assortment of types of events.
My background has been 100%, well, up until 18 months ago, 20 months ago, was 100% physical events. Didn't know anything about virtual events, didn't want to know anything about virtual events. Physical events was the way to go. And then we completely transformed the whole business.
We have organisers from a range of disciplines here. I'm curious, what do you view as the most important purpose of face-to-face engagement? Not just from your point of view, but that of your delegates and your visitors.
It's very hard to gauge honesty and to gauge whether you're being really involved with the communication when you're online. At least I find it difficult, and I think a lot of our members and fellows do.
And so everyone piled in. And the first thing that everyone did was they took a physical event and they dropped it into a virtual format, and surprisingly it fell on its arse because it's not designed to be that way and you're not using the platform in the right way.
But if we go back to kind of 18 months ago when we started using digital platforms for our events, it's new technology that, and as a fact it being new, I don't know what it can do and how it works. And I think it's almost a case of saying, okay, with this is exactly what you're going to get. This is what we can do, this is what we can't do. Because as event organisers, we don't know what we don't know. And sometimes on the journey you realise kind of, 2 days before you're about to go live that you should have done an API push or an API pull. And I'm like, an API what? I've got no idea what that means. It's completely French to me.
What does that mean?
Well, it's magic, basically. It takes it from there.
That wasn't a test,
there,
I genuinely have no idea.
That way, and it appears.
The discussion was great because it was various areas, whether it be association, whether it be exhibition, whether it be venue, PCO. So it's really interesting to hear all their views. The views are amazingly the same. And I think probably the highlight was hybrid isn't working yet, but it could.
So it will find its platform and its place and just be a really great channel for us to use alongside everything else in support and not in competition to what we currently do.
If your show is very content-led, it's brilliant because you can obviously push that content out to a wider audience by having a virtual audience as well as your in-person audience. Yes, it's a lot more work, but then you also have to remember you have a virtual audience as well. You need to keep your content sessions 20 minutes, whereas in person you could go on for a little bit longer. So really you want to create a separate sort of schedule for your virtual, for your in-person, but then also have them interlink as well.
Now very much we are designing virtual audiences and physical audiences, and I think the opportunity we have now is bringing that bridge together, right? Enabling them to have both equally enriching experiences, but also to connect with each other, because as we're doing here today, we've all missed being face-to-face and having the opportunity to network and learn from each other. So I'm excited personally as a marketer for the next 18 months to see how we can kind of bring this hybrid and physical digital world together.
How sustainable do you think that model is, and how do you think it will change, I guess, events businesses? Is that going to mean bigger teams? Is there going to be a bigger skill requirement than we're already in? What does that mean going forward?
Yes and no. So for that, yes, it is kind of running two different shows because you have to cater for two different audiences. If your show is very content-led, it's brilliant because you can obviously push that content out to a wider audience by having a virtual audience as well as your in-person audience. Yes, it's a lot more work, but then you also have to remember you have a virtual audience as well. You need to keep your content sessions 20 minutes, whereas in person you could go on for a little bit longer. So really you want to create a separate sort of schedule for your virtual, for your in-person, but then also have them interlink as well.